Logan is finally here. Week 1, which means we are talking to head coach Dan Quinn about all things Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And the coach and I go in the film room. We talk about Deron Payne, John Allen, Dorrance Armstrong, Frankie Louvu, and how they fit in this Joe Witt Jr. defense.
Then after that, we talk must-watch matchups and a ticket to a victory out in Tampa Bay. Welcome in, Commanders family, to the Game Plan. My name is Brian Colbert Jr. here with the legend Logan Paulson and our fearless leader, head coach Dan Quinn. Coach, good to see you.
Yeah, good to be here with you, man. And it's a cool show, and glad to be a part of it.
Yes, sir. So before we get started on Tampa Bay,
you
re-signed Sam Cosmi. What goes into that decision-making, especially right before Week 1?
Yeah, man, is that awesome? And it was really cool to see him and his family here today. And I think Sam represents, what we want a commander to be. And he's strong, he's tough, he's a great teammate. And so to know that he'll be right inside for years to come, that's an excellent feeling for a head coach.
What a way to set the tone heading into Week 1. So let's get right into it. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers were a playoff team, a great test for this new-look team. How are you feeling about Tampa Bay?
Yeah, it is. You're right. This is what a matchup, man. This is going to be a hell of a battle. These are going to be two tough teams that are going to have to absolutely fight for it. And that's what I love about it. Their head coach, former alumni, not this week, Todd Bowles, not the alumni this week, but he's a really good coach. And they've had a good run, in Tampa, over the last, 4 years or so. They play aggressively, defensively. They've been stout against the run. They've got a really good blitz package. That's kind of what they've been known for. And then offensively, they've got some playmakers, specifically outside with receiver. They have it at running back, quarterback, can make plays outside the pocket. And so that's why this is going to be a hell of a fight, man. And it's like one that we're really looking forward to. Hot down there, might get some weather. And so all the elements that combine into like a hell of a fight. And that's what we're expecting. And we'll certainly see that.
Yeah, it's interesting because like Todd Bowles is such a game plan defensive coordinator. Is that one of the reasons why you keep all that stuff in the preseason close to the vest? Kind of, make sure that he can't, no competitive advantage for him.
Yeah, I think part of that is true. And I think you'll recognize this too, Logan. And that's why we've got a good experienced staff here. You've got to be able to adjust. When it comes, you think they may play you one way and they don't, say they want to blitz 50% of the time. They can do that. Sometimes you get hurt on blitz, you don't go down that road. Or you load up in here for the run game and they play you differently. So what's awesome about our team, a lot of guys with a lot of experience, been in a lot of fights. And so knowing that going in, it's not always like you think the plan is going to be. You have certain parts of your game plan we've got to go execute, but you also have to adjust. And when those times and those moments come, you've got to go nail it. And I love the fact that we've got a lot of guys that have been in the fights and are ready to adjust when needed.
And the Bucs brought back Baker Mayfield after having a career year last year. What challenges does a guy like Baker Mayfield pose for you?
Yeah, he's such a gamer. And he's tough, too. Like this guy, he'll get in the pocket, he'll extend plays. And what you can see is, on the deep balls, like obviously to Evans, that's been not just Baker, but through the years, a number of people.
Right.
Like I love the style, the attitude that he plays with, and him and Godwin. But I think what Baker can bring is also some movement. And so in this offense, there's play passes, there's keepers, ways to get a quarterback out on the edge. And so you'll see that with him where, quarterback's under center, they're going to stay committed in the run game, and then can he get outside the pocket to take some of these deep throws down the field? And that's one of the things that we're going to work hard at to make sure we stay on top and make these balls go inside where you're not taking these shots down the field.
Coach, how have you seen him change? Because I think a lot of fans think of him in Cleveland where he kind of struggled, but I think last year he looked like a new guy. Yeah. And so how do you characterize his transition, and is he here to stay?
Yeah, I think sometimes you have to go through it a little, and you find that you end up in the right place at the right time in the right system. And sometimes as that road and that journey goes, it can be a little rocky and it can be bumpy. But I think when you saw some of the things that he does so well and get outside the pocket to do that, that's what brings his game to life. And made good decisions and, took care of the ball. So all those things factor into it. But at the core of it, this is a really excellent competitor. And from a system standpoint, you can tell he feels comfortable and really has an understanding of that.
And talk about Baker growing in comfort. Well, now he has another new offensive coordinator in Liam Cohen. What challenges does having to face a new offensive coordinator that you don't have as much film on?
Yeah, I think when you go through the opening game, both sides have some wrinkles and some things to do that. And Logan will laugh. You'll see some coaches over there shuffling that paper around. You've hit the right mark when they're a little uncomfortable because new looks that you haven't shown to go. Now, one thing that's will stay somewhat consistent is the system, and when you have a system, if all three of us had the same playbook and we were out to go call the game, we wouldn't call it exactly the same. And so I think there'll be a lot of concepts that Tampa has run in the past that had the same system, in place last year and this year, but it doesn't mean they'll call it the same way. Some of the things that Liam likes that Dave Canales may have done differently, that's okay. And how do you feature players into the system? So what we'll see is his version of the offense, and what does that look like? So when we get down to it, there'll be some plays that you have to adjust, you have to make, but we're also on that side too, where they have to, see some things that we certainly haven't shown all of ours as well. So I love the gamesmanship that takes place early in the season.
Yeah, and Liam was in LA with Sean McVay.
Correct.
And so he's kind of this, this Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay tree, which is permeating the league. Like, what are some things about that offense that you say, man, you mentioned the movement already, the keepers, the boots, the play action pass. Is it just that they're able to get to a bunch of different stuff from kind of the same looks, or is it that it's very malleable and changeable also?
I think the best of the best, and this offense certainly has that, that they can stretch you horizontally, with some zones and ability to get the ball on the perimeter, and then stretch you vertically. Now you have to defend the entire field, so you'll see some condensed formations where they can now expand from there to use the whole field, or condense the formations to throw a shot down the field. So those are the things that I think you can expect from the system. Lots of shifting and motioning to, get guys and earn a leverage that they can, win with. And so that'll be part of the defensive, challenges that own their own leverage and adjust to the motions and make sure they can, at the end of it, man, it still comes down to like, we've got to really run, and man, we've got to hit on defense.
And you talk about those matchups that we're going to see, because you don't air it out unless you have some real talent over there, and you have a Mike Evans, you have a Chris Godwin, you even have an Otten who's 6'5". How do you slow down those explosive weapons for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Yeah, you don't want to, see where these guys can take their shots down the field, so you've got to be able to stay on top to make sure those shots aren't there. But at the end of it, you also have got to put pressure on the QB, and you'll hear us use the word affecting the QB. And getting him off his spot, where now he doesn't have the time, he can't stay in the rhythm. And so that's part of, the defensive line, the blitz package, to make sure they're absolutely bringing it so these plays can't develop and go down the field. And then the other part of that is disguise. You show one look, and then you play the other. Looks like man-to-man, but now it's zone. It looks like zone, and you can play it as man. And so making the quarterbacks have to see what the defense is going to be in after they have the ball in their hands, as opposed to before the snap. I saw a motion, okay, Logan went in motion, safety travel with him, it's man-to-man, I know where to go. Sometimes you need to show that it's looking like man-to-man, and then after he gets it, no, it was zone. And so making those decisions hard, and I think that's what, part of what makes Joe special is his ability in the disguise back and forth as a defender.
I mean, that evolution of defense has just been crazy over the last probably 10 years. Like, it used to be, here's cover two, here's man-to-man coverage. I remember when we were in Atlanta, and you would run a cover two disguise, but it was man, but it was actually cover two. And just like the ability to get to all that different stuff and how hard that makes it offensively, I think is just really powerful.
Yeah, and I think early in my career, like in Seattle, we played one thing so much, but we were exceptional at that one specific way that we played cover three. And we knew where the problems were, we knew what it could look like and where it was going. But the game evolved more too, where there's more formations, more things to think about. And so you can't just be stuck into one way, and you have to evolve, and you have to change and show man-to-man and pressure and then play back. And so that back and forth is what it's all about. But it's still, like I said, comes down to, for us, the ball, can we take care of it? Can we knock a few out? And can we really go, try to out-hit people?
This might be my offensive bias, but almost like you're approaching it like an offensive play caller now. You're just trying to subvert the offensive expectations, right?
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
You're not going to win every play, and we know that. And there was a great clip from Roger Federer that he won 80% of his games, but only like 54% of the individual matches. So like it's back and forth. So you have to know, okay, they got us in that one, you go play the next one, and you go play the next one, and you keep going. And in a game like this against Tampa, this is going to go all the way down to the end. And it's going to take the whole game. It's going to be an absolute battle. And so we expect that, for this game to be close. And in the end, if it goes all the way to the end or in extra time, like, we'll be down for that too. We just got to know that this fight's going to take all the way through the afternoon into the evening, and we'll be ready for that.
You said something interesting, Coach, talking about the evolution of the game. When I think about that, I think about the running backs, right, and how Rachaad White is used for Tampa. touches, I think the 4th most touches in the NFL for a running back. How do you slow Rachaad White down?
Yeah, and he is really, like you could almost say now, like a throwback, running back.
Getting all the touches.
Yes, and not everybody's equipped for that. But he has such a good slashing style, Brian, that you very rarely see him get knocked off. He's got the ability to bend and cut. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He extends plays that way because now if it's covered, Baker has a person, an outlet to go to. And for instance, him specifically on screens has been a really big deal. And if you got people that want to get up the field and get going, the use of screens is a big deal. And so he's somebody, and their system is somebody that has some excellent screens.
And we buried the lead, right? We had to ask you all these other questions, but we know people want to see and hear about quarterback Jayden Daniels. This is week 1 for him. We don't want to set expectations too high, but what do you expect to see from your rookie quarterback?
I expect to see a lot of what I've seen, here in Ashburn. It's not just the throwing, but it's playing the position well and getting into the right play when that's needed, speeding up a throw when that's needed. But he can really go execute this system. And so he's put the work in, and now how good that feeling is, like when you prepare for a show, like I can't wait for this show, all the work that I put in. He has that feeling because he's put so much work into it that you can't wait for kickoff and you can't wait for these opportunities and the one play and the one look that happens and you go nail it. And it doesn't come up on every play, but when it does, and that moment's there, that's that pause, that time to say, it's time to go for it. And I think people are cautious, they don't want to do it and look bad, or they pause and say, no, this is the play. This is the one. I'm going for it. And guys like Jayden, when they see that moment, they go for it.
And Coach, that moment, I think you're going to go for that moment too.
100%.
This is our first time we're going to be seeing you,
Yes.
and these fans are so excited to see you. They're so happy to hear from you and get to know you, Coach. So we appreciate your time here, and we can't wait to see you guys out in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, we can't wait either, man. And just seeing this team come together and their connection, and in a week's time, we'll get to see that connection with the city and the team. And but man, we're absolutely going to bring it for them.
We're excited, Coach.
All right.
Now it's time for your Prime Player, brought to you by DC Prime, Loudoun's premier steakhouse. For dinner reservations or private dining, call 703-840-2099. Louvu showed up and showed out for the Panthers last season with 66 solo tackles, 125 total tackles, and 5.5 sacks. Washington's new addition of Joe Witt Jr. as defensive coordinator out of Dallas will prove to make Louvu's season interesting, as the Cowboys were ranked top 5 in both scoring defense and total defense. Coming up, Coach and Logan head into the film room to talk more in depth about some of your favorite Commanders. And afterwards, Logan and I give an extensive preview into top matchups in Tampa. The Game Plan is presented by Maryland Lottery. Please play responsibly. Time to go inside the film room, brought to you by the Maryland Lottery. Please play responsibly.
All right, Coach, week 1, Tampa Bay. And you know, it's funny. We've had a bunch of preseason games, seen a little bit of what this defense looks like, but there's a lot of guys who didn't play a ton. Right. And one of the guys that kind of came out to me was this guy right here, Dorrance Armstrong, man. And, you know, he's in there from Dallas, gave him a lot of money. And, you know, we haven't seen him play a ton, but I just love this kind of up and under move right here by him. I love the athlete, love the bend, and kind of the natural pass rush juice we got here. Yep. How does he fit in here in this Joe Witt Jr. defense?
Yeah, well, I think, one, you're on a great topic, man, front 7 play. So you have absolutely lit me up. And one of the things that I've always admired about DA's game is his ability to bend. And whether he's rushing from outside, rushing from inside, the fans will see him play all over the line of scrimmage, left end, right end, 3 technique, over the nose. And so the ability to take somebody up and then to come inside, trim the fat, stay tight onto the game, that takes work, you know, where you can create that timing, get somebody to feel they can turn, and then be able to finish. And as you know, that's what it's all about. You know, whether you're blitzing or whether you're rushing, you've got to be able to close the deal. And this is a great example of that with DA, of like going to finish. He's thinking about the ball. You can see it right there, Logan.
The ball. Let's get that thing in there,
yes, man. Yeah. So, but that's really, you know, part of his game. He's versatile. He can be inside, outside. He's a really smart football player.
Yeah, and you mentioned it briefly, but I think like him working also with this 3 technique, like working off of this action and kind of feeling the timing. Like, because I've seen guys run this a ton and it never quite clicks. You can tell they've worked this a lot, and we've seen you guys working on the practice field quite a bit, so it's nice to see the execution hit home here with a guy who's familiar with the system.
And no different than you as a tight end and a receiver running a rub route. And it has to be tight. It has to be closely connected to make it hard to pass off, and it's got to feel real, like he's going to win outside. So good stunt, good finish.
And so I just think about that skill set. You talked about the bend, the finish, the flexibility with guys like John Allen, who has a long history of being very effective winning one-on-ones inside. And here, he's going to get vertical on this rush, attacking the outside shoulder. And I just see those two guys working together, working off each other, playing the game together. And I think that's going to be an effective duo.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've always admired about John, he's got such power, especially in his lower body. So you can see on this particular one, the guard's trying to go rock set him. He's trying to go get him, Logan, because he knows if he plays too high, this is a chance. This guy could get underneath me and absolutely forklift me off the ground to go. So it's a great recognition to say, here's a guy who's loaded up in his stance, and if he was to bull, he'd think he could anchor in. Now John has the ability to say, this is my fastball, this is my changeup.
I love that you brought that up because, John has got that tremendous hump move. And these two moves that he does, like these quick hands, they play off each other so well. When you've got a guy who can do the hump, use the quick hands, it's just a devastating combination.
They have to be in coordination with one another, and they have to look alike at the line. And if they look alike and they don't give it away, he doesn't pop up on one and stay down another, you don't need tons, but you have to have the combination off that. And so that's his changeup off the power, and it's really effective based on his speed and his ability, again, to finish.
Yeah, so the idea of, Dorrance and him working together, and then we got this big mamma jamma in here, and his ability, he's just so explosive. Maybe not kind of the refined pass rusher that John is, but tremendous athlete, tremendous strength, and they're trying to work kind of a outside shoulder here. They're bringing the fullback to get across here, and he just does such a good job feeling this, working inside, getting back vertical, right?
That's right.
An outside zone, if we don't get back outside, we're in a lot of trouble here. But great job playing off the fullback and making this tackle.
What makes Duran so unique, at 315, he looks like he can play at like 275. He's got quickness. This is an excellent guard, but he's knowing, I got to get speed. I got to get my helmet speed to go get this guy to move based on his strength. Now, the ability to come underneath, to go backdoor, to have that kind of quickness, staying on his feet, that's what makes Duran special.
And I was going to say, you know Chris Lindstrom, like he's one of the best guards in the NFL. His speed, his power, but Duran's a special player in his own right, able to take advantage of that.
And so to have those two guys inside together, like you're just constantly trying to create a nightmare together. And so stunts and movements, and then you bring DA into it, and now you run TEs and ETs and stunts, and then what if we move Payne outside and Dorrance inside? And so
finding those matchups.
So that's the type of creativity that you can expect from this group, and they're smart players.
And I'm so glad you brought up creativity, because a guy that you see line up all over the formation is Frankie Luvu, and he plays on the line, he plays off the ball. But the thing that just caught me, watching him, is he's got that dog mentality. He is trying to finish every play with violence and physicality. Yep. And I see this, and I'm like, this play right here. It's a blitz pickup, and it is one of the more violent plays in football, and he is unfazed. He's like, I'm here to bring it. We're going to finish this thing. He misses the sack, but look at the motor, look at the energy, and I just think that is what you're looking for.
Yeah, and Frankie creates energy everywhere he goes, the way he plays, and so on this one, if you draw it up, it's blocked. It's just a linebacker blitzing in the A gap, but it's the way, Logan, that he makes it come to life.
Yeah,
everybody has
come
this
to
play.
life. Yes,
everybody has this blitz. It's the way that he does it. It's the attitude, the style, the physicality, the finishing, and that's why his teammates here absolutely love him.
Yeah, I bet, man. That would be awesome. I wouldn't want to practice against this guy, but it's when he's on your team and he's doing that stuff, it's great.
Yeah, you want to look off the bench. What are they doing? And see where he's going. So it's really fun to see that.
And here he is right here, and we had a good Frankie Luvu play, but I don't know if I've ever seen a linebacker do this to a guard in the NFL. Just the power and the length and the explosiveness and the mindset. And I'm just like, this is, again, what a commander looks like to me in conjunction with those other three guys we talked about.
And sometimes you want to see, how do guys match up? So here's 5 guys. They're all going to, the offensive line, they're counting Frankie as a big, so they're putting a big guy on him. And so those are the matchups that you want to find to say, can I win this matchup? Can I go to this one? And just like we had talked about John earlier, here's a linebacker who's now on the ball. Is he going to go outside? Is he going to go inside? So it makes the guard, I'm
Open
not sure,
his feet,
this is different. And then you hit him. And so that's the example I was using with John earlier. He was waiting for Frankie to go inside or outside. He chose neither.
Right down the middle,
Tried to go right through him. And so it puts an offensive lineman in a tough spot to say, what is this person going to do? It's nice when he wants to run inside, go ahead. That's it. But what if he moves?
Yeah.
So having the ability to have the changeup off the fastball as a pass rusher or a blitzer is really, really important.
Yeah, and Coach, I just can't wait to see those 4 guys and all the other new additions you brought in against Tampa Bay this weekend, and let Joe Witt unleash all these dudes and let them go hunt the quarterback.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, and these guys love playing ball, man. Their connection, you'll feel it. You'll feel their energy and their toughness, and so that play style will be on display for sure.
Can't wait to see it.
Right.
Always great to see the legend Logan and Coach DQ in the film room. Now, you can gear up for game day with our Commanders coverage starting this afternoon. At 3:25, B. Mitch Santana Moss and myself share in-depth analysis on the Commanders and a live look into their warm-up. Immediately after the game, we'll be back live to share our reactions to the Commanders vs. Bucs and coach and player press conferences. You won't want to miss all of the great analysis and live looks on Facebook, Twitter, and the Commanders YouTube page. Stick around, Commanders family, because Logan and I will be right back to give you our must-watch matchups and how we can bring home a win from Tampa. Welcome back. It's time for a competitive edge brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official partner of the Washington Commanders. Tampa Bay enters this 2024 season under head coach Todd Bowles, who is the first head coach to lead Tampa Bay to the playoffs in his first 2 seasons with the team. Notably this offseason bringing back quarterback Baker Mayfield, who had career highs playing for Tampa Bay last year. And don't forget to buy your tickets to see head coach Dan Quinn and your favorite Commanders players at our home opener against the New York Giants next Sunday at 1 p.m. You can find those tickets at commanders.com. Now, it's time for your ticket to a win, presented by SeatGeek. Your ticket to great Commander seats. Logan, we are just hours away from kickoff, which is crazy to say. What is a ticket to a victory for the Commanders?
To me, the number one ticket, the first and most important thing is that we make Jayden Daniels comfortable, right? We make him the most comfortable quarterback in America. Cliff, what kind of game plan you got? How do we handle that Todd Bowles pressure? Does he understand the coverages that Todd Bowles is presenting? Because if he's playing comfortable football, this offense is going to cook. If this offense is cooking, it alleviates so much pressure on the defense. So I definitely think Jayden Daniels, comfortable, Cliff Kingsbury's game plan, that's the ticket to a win.
And we talked earlier about all these different names on Tampa Bay and also on our team, right? What are some key matchups you are looking for in today's game?
I mean, there's a bunch in this game. That's always the fun thing about week one is there's all these different things you have to see. So to me, Tyler Biadasz, Vita Vea, I think that's a big one inside, right? You don't see a lot of true nose guards anymore, but he's one of the best in the NFL. He's big, he's 360 pounds. Biadasz, we brought him in here to handle stuff like this, to handle the protections. Can he win that one-on-one? Terry McLaurin, they've got a young kind of first-year starting cornerback. Can we exploit that mashup? A lot of stuff like that, which I'm really excited for.
Looking for our guys to swap a lot of paint today. Commanders family is finally here. Week 1 of the NFL season is about to kick off. We will see you guys next Sunday on the Game Plan.